Good morning. Welcome to my extremely messy sewing room. So for today's video, this week's video, we are going to clean this up. And the main reason I'm making a video out of it is because if I didn't make a video out of it, I was never gonna do it. So here we are. Step 0 is to just clean stuff out. I'm gonna take like all of this stuff out. I have some furniture that's going to be coming in, so I need to take everything out, do just a whole clean, vacuum, etc., and then I'm going to be rearranging the furniture and bringing in a couple of new pieces. One of them is from like Habitat for Humanity, and the other one is a hand-me-down, but it is an antique, which is super cool, so stay tuned for that. Let's go ahead and get started. Hello. So I've just finished taking just about all the furniture out, and so it's very echoey in here. Sorry about that. You will notice that there is one piece of furniture still here, that is this dresser. The reason for that is because A, I can vacuum under it, and B, this is where it's gonna stay, so I don't actually need to move it. So I'm gonna do a quick vacuum cleanup, etc., and then I will start putting the furniture back in the places where I want it to actually go. Okay, so I think I'm gonna call it quits for the day. I have moved a lot of furniture. I'm pretty tired. There's one more piece of furniture that is coming in. Again, sorry about the echo. And that is the big Victorian piece of furniture. However, that will magically appear in the corner where it's going to live, because that one I very definitely cannot move by myself. And by the time somebody gets here to help me move it, we will no longer have good lighting in this room. So for my next trick, when we come back tomorrow, there will be a very large piece of furniture in the corner there, and tomorrow we're going to do books, fabric sorting, all that sort of setup stuff so that the room is finally usable. Hello. I thought that you might like a little overview of my historic possible Victorian piece of furniture, so here you go. That's it, that's the whole tour. Just kidding, wanted to go over some of the cool features that are in this piece of furniture that make us think that it's probably historic. I don't know what to call this piece of furniture. I don't know if there's a particular type of furniture that it fits, or if a woodworker just decided to experiment and came out with this. Anyways, it's super cool. So, reasons we think it's probably Victorian, but at least some sort of very old TM. First thing, it's got this mirror here, and this is a serious mirror. It's actually attached to its own piece of wood in the back, and then that piece of wood is nailed in place behind the rest of the furniture. Mirrors are a very common feature in some types of Victorian furniture because you could go ahead and put a lamp right here, and then the mirror will reflect more of that light into the room. So mirrors, common feature on old pieces of furniture. Second thing, this side is a shelving unit, but the holes for the shelf supports are a super weird measurement. I've never seen this measurement before. I actually had to pull out my quilting ruler. They are 5/16 of an inch. And the original shelf supports, we do have them. I don't know where they are, but we do have them. They look like they might be pewter. I'm very lucky to live with somebody who has experience with historical furniture, furniture making, and also historical construction, and she told me she thinks they're pewter. So that's kind of cool. However, we were in Lowe's the other day looking for new little shelf brackets, and we were looking through the entire section thinking, my gosh, are we gonna have to like call a blacksmith and get more of these commissioned? We did finally find one container. They had one container of brackets that were 5/16 of an inch, so thank goodness I can actually use these shelves, but oh my gosh, that was a little nerve-wracking. Third reason why I think it's a weird historical piece of furniture, one sec. It's got this weird, like, headboard thing, and I mean, if you look at this, look at, you know, the edges and stuff, this is not veneer, this is not particle board, this is like one solid hunk of wood that has been carved with little curlicues and stuff, and it goes right behind here to kind of continue the decoration on this, and to attach it, it has these legs on the back, and you literally have to screw it in place, which I've never seen any piece of furniture do before. This is literally so heavy, you could probably do weightlifting exercises with it, honestly. So there's a couple more features, but let me take the camera closer so that you can take a better look at those features. Last couple of reasons why I think that this piece of furniture is definitely historic. First one, it's got this weird but very cool little secretary in here. I do have a more modern piece of furniture that is called a secretary, but it has a different arrangement than this. I've never seen this type of arrangement for a modern secretary, so that again makes me think it's probably historic. And then if you look, I don't know if you can see from here, but I'll try to show you in this section, and you can see it a little bit in the bottom too, but the camera doesn't necessarily show you the best angle on that. The back is made of boards, and they're heavy. They're not, this isn't like a sheet of plywood. These are literal like 10 to 12 inch wide boards. This piece of furniture is ridiculously heavy. Probably came off of an old growth tree, which is not great. It's got this smaller drawer underneath here, and then the bottom part is, this is a cabinet. The door came off, so we need to fix that, probably with some wood glue. But basically, for the construction of the door, it's in 3 panels. There's the one with the lock on it. Everything on here has locks on it. No, I don't have the key. That would be cool, but it's made in 3 panels, and they have this kind of like dovetailing together construction. This piece has just come off, but basically there's the hinged piece that was made separately from the main door, which was made separately from the lock piece, and then they all just kind of dovetail together, which is really awesome. Honestly, this is such a cool piece of furniture, definitely one of my favorites. If you happen to know what this piece of furniture is called, please let me know in the comments, because I honestly have no clue, but I love it anyways. Alright, so for my books, I have a couple of different general categories. First off is sewing reference, for example, my wonderful Patterns of Fashion, which when I found out in college that these were no longer being printed, I actually literally teared up a little bit. Feel slightly embarrassed about that now, but they are now reprinting them, so I have Patterns of Fashion 1 and Patterns of Fashion 5, and these are just going to stay right up top here for whenever I need to reference them. Other than that, I have a couple different categories. I have kind of general crafting, and some of these general crafting books are quite old. For example, I don't know if you can tell in the camera, but the cover on this is literally orange corduroy. Like, it's fuzzy. Yes, this was printed in the 70s, in case you were wondering. This was gifted to me by a former colleague, which was very lovely of them. So general crafting, and then I also have sewing specific techniques, and then I also have my kind of general design inspiration kind of books, because yeah, I live under a rock and sometimes I use Pinterest and sometimes I use a book. So let's go ahead and organize these together. Hello. So I got a bunch of fabric out. I braided my hair, all ready to work. I started sorting the fabric, and then I realized maybe I should actually pick up the camera while I sort my fabric. So here I am, and we're gonna take a look at the fabric that I've got. I still have some left, don't worry, so we're gonna sort some fabric together. Sir, are you inspecting the merchandise? Yeah? What do you think? Okay, I wanted to give a quick overview of what pile is which so that you know exactly how I'm sorting everything. First off, we've got a large pile of polar fleece, and then this is specialty fabrics, 1000% polyester, mostly like gauze, lace. This is mostly stuff that I bought in my first couple years of sewing while I was mostly making, you know, Halloween costumes. These are sentimental fabrics. This is like the fabric my mom used for curtains in my nursery, so no immediate plans to use it, but I'm not getting rid of it. These are actual curtains, not like, oh, I got these from a thrift store to make things out of. Like, I don't know how they got in my stash. I need to put them back. These are mock-ups that are waiting to get disassembled and remade into new mock-ups. These are these are projects that did not work out the way I wanted them to. If you get into sewing, you will have projects like this, and that's okay. As long as you learn something, it's not like a waste of time. So, I mean, you know, I've got probably 10 projects in here already. Over here, we have my solid cottons in two exciting colorways. I've got Puritan and Dayglow, so those are the two colorways there. Over in the back, those are printed cottons, usually for quilting. Over here, that is muslin. I sometimes use those for embroidery. This is natural and natural-esque fibers. This is 100% linen. These two are wool blends. Under here, the weave says linen, but my hands tell me at least 50% polyester. And then the rest of this is just all of my cotton knits, because that's the majority of things that I work with. Then over here we've got the large boxes of scraps, of which I have a lot. This whole box is filled with jeans, and I don't mean like donatable jeans, I mean like this is the first pair I pulled out. There's plenty of usable fabric on this jeans, but like, you know, my friend was gonna throw it out, and I didn't want to have them do that, but, you know, you couldn't repair this and then donate it. Nobody's going to want to wear jeans that clearly had a torn up and then repaired hole right here. And then this is fabric that I've chosen to get rid of. Now, I'm not gonna throw this out, that would be really wasteful. I think what I'm probably gonna do is find like a fashion design club or something that could use these at a local school and just donate a bag of fabric there. Hello! The room is finally done, and you know what that means. It is time for a tour. Okay, so starting out with the most important part of the tour, this is Angus. Can you say hi? No, he says it's bath time. Okay, that's fine. That's fine, Angus. So do you ever like look at a space and be like, oh my gosh, it's too clean? Because that's kind of what's happening to me here. It's literally clean enough to echo. I'm gonna have to actually buy a microphone, which I've been meaning to do for a while. Anyways, so starting off with the first corner that I worked on, got my little sewing corner right here with a lamp, chair. Of course, the chair is already covered with fabric. Basically, that's the fabric I'm going to donate, and this way I have to actually get up and move and deal with it before I sit down to sew. Cat toy in the corner, of course, and then these are my sewing and crafting books. I've got drawing over in, ooh, excuse me, my camera's having trouble focusing, dang. So I have drawing books over in this corner, then some books on clothing construction, quilting books over here in this corner. These are all guides to either designing or making historical clothing, historical garments, and then this right here is just my kind of general crafting and design book section. I have these little tiny rabbit statuettes. My parents gave them to us as gifts when we were kids. I somehow ended up with all three of them, so they just live in my sewing room now. This is the cat tree so that his lordship, Mr. Angus, can climb up and peruse patterns of fashion if he so chooses, or more likely just take a nap in his cat bed. And then I've got this very aesthetic little box with a rose on it here. It doesn't have anything in it yet. I'm still deciding what to put in it. And then over here, these are my other historical kind of just books. I've got historical fiction. These are actually historical. I've got them at yard sales and stuff when people are getting rid of them. And then just, you know, historical fiction, fantasy, and actual history reference textbooks and other books down here. This is my wooden sword. No, it is not useful for sewing, but I did make it myself, so I like having it here. I haven't exactly figured out what to do with this shed except for, you know, irons. There was nothing on the shelf, so I put a pine cone on it, and my mini embroidery iron. Do I know where the cord is to this? No, I don't. I decided to put it in a different box than the iron when we were moving, and that was a silly choice. This is a this is a play iron, so I just keep it there because I think it's cute. And then this is, let me go ahead and show you guys this real quick. Hold up. Okay, so this is actually my mobile sewing kit. It's just big enough for a pair of scissors, a small thing of thread. I've got some like basting threads here, and then underneath here there's just a piece of felt that I can put pins and needles in, and this whole thing is really convenient because it fits in my pocket. So that's just, it's the sewing kit that I can bring when I can't bring anything else with me. All right, and then for this, let me back up and actually get a full shot. One sec. All right, so this is my kind of storage dresser, and then on the top I just have some things that are some pretty and some useful. In the middle here I've got pencils, because I always need pencils, little notebook if the thought strikes me for an idea, and then rulers, rulers, rulers. And then over here, this is just more basting thread. It's just old thread from other projects, and then all of my tailor's chalk is also there. This is how I store my thread. I don't know, I just like it. And then this little piece was when I started my first sewing project, I stuck all my supplies in there and called it my sewing pitcher. Obviously, I don't use it as a sewing kit anymore. It's highly impractical, it's very breakable, but I don't know, I just love it, so I wanted to include it. And this is some stained glass in resin, which is lovely. I haven't found a place to hang it up yet because it is quite heavy. Anyways, let's take a look at the drawers. So in the first drawer here, we've got, this is, you know, just ribbon, pieces of ribbon, spools of ribbon. There's a zipper, there's some horsehair braid. The boxes have more ribbon in them. Second drawer over, this is kind of like miscellaneous. I've got like fabric scraps in here. These are fabric dyes. This is an in-process embroidery project that I really need to work on. This is a finished embroidery project that I need to find something to do with, and then rounding it off with fabric glue. Next drawer over, this is actually, even though I have like a whole thing full of fabric, this is where I'm storing my natural fibers, wool, linen, etc. I don't know, I think like the drawer on my other one kind of swings open, and I figure if Angus gets into my fabric, I'd rather him not get into like the expensive ones. And then this drawer is completely miscellaneous. I've got some computer stuff in the back, my rotary cutters, little tripod, and then I've got like fastenings, belt, things for belt rings, buttons, little bits of decorative foliage, etc. So that's that drawer. And then in this one, these are patterns. I do have these patterns, a couple of them are on muslin, just because these are the ones that I tend to use the most, so they need to be sturdier. Got some paper patterns here, and then I've got like a box of patterns underneath there, my hem pattern weights, and then I do have a couple of commercial patterns over here. This is the mending drawer. As you can see, it's very full, so that's going to be an upcoming video, is mending. Haha. Oh great, not closing all the way. Awesome. Oh, there it goes. All right. This drawer doesn't always like to open, so let's take a look. It's not wanting to open, but if you can just see in there, it's like sketchbooks and colored pencils and stuff. This drawer, brace yourself, is scraps. It's all scraps, like it's just scraps all the way down. So that's fun and exciting. Let's close that for now, shall we? Okay, cool. And then over here we have a couple of quilting hoops, which were gifted to me, and then a quilting frame with 2 different sizes of hoops. I don't know if you can tell in the video, the finishes are different. These are different ages. I didn't get them at the same time, but I have used the ones on the right for making a large quilt, and I hope to use the one on the left for the same purpose later on. This is my lovely piece of furniture that is probably Victorian. I've got all of my fabric stored very aesthetically on the left, a very unaesthetic box of scraps on the right, and, but wait, there's more scraps. You know, there's always more scraps. And then in here, I have my beads and some, I don't know, small aesthetic ceramic butterflies, and there's more beads in this little tiny drawer right here. So, fun fact, this did have like a ribbon on its handle. I thought the cat couldn't get up here, and I was wrong. And then up top I have my embroidery hoops. Over here, this piece of furniture is actually interesting. So this is a spinning wheel. Yes, it is historic. Yes, it does work. This was gifted to me by a friend. It is from 1870, which is super cool. Unfortunately, a couple of the pieces, like the distaff, got left behind, and so I'm getting those soon, but currently, no, I can't use it. Do I know how to use a spinning wheel? No, I don't. I only know how to use a drop spindle, but that's okay, I will learn. It has always been my goal to be able to spin on a spinning wheel, so. Over here, I have my work table. I just like to, you know, keep it folded away when it's not in use. This is really cool. This is a reproduction of a print from the Gutenberg Museum, and it was printed on a reproduction Gutenberg press, so that's awesome. It is one of my most prized possessions, honestly. Let's open up the cabinet, see what's in here. So this is one of the pieces from the spinning wheel. Very unfortunately, one of the reeds broke in transit, despite my friend being as careful as possible with it, but we will go ahead and get that repaired. And then in here is mostly just like yarn, a couple of spools of like burlap ribbon, cordage. Some of these have, if they're bound together like this, have a project in mind for them already. Some of it is just loose. And then more yarn, just safely away from his lordship, so that he can look at it and not be able to get into it. This box is just full of junk, but you know, it's in an aesthetic box, so junk. And if you can't tell, yes, I have a basket problem, so you know. Anyways, that's the tour. I always like a good before and after comparison, so here's the before. As you can see, there's craft supplies and fabric just all over the place. There's non-craft stuff in here. Not all of it is stuff you can see because there's boxes of it stacked, and it just overall is one complete mess. Here's the after. Almost everything in the before picture is still in this. It's just organized now, which is awesome. So if you're one of the 3 people who watched the end of this video, thank you so much for joining me on this journey of cleaning things up, and I hope to be able to bring you lots of new exciting videos soon using my wonderful, redesigned, reorganized craft space. Again, thanks for watching. I hope you guys take care and have a great day. Bye. It's too clean!